What if I told you that one of the world's most endangered animals, a creature so fragile it became the global symbol of extinction, has quietly staged one of the greatest conservation victories of our time? Imagine an animal so iconic that its image is recognized everywhere. The gentle black and white bear that has come to represent wildlife conservation itself. Yet for decades, the giant panda was vanishing before our eyes. Habitat loss, poaching, and a famously difficult reproduction cycle pushed it to the brink. By the 1980s, fewer than 1,000 remained in the wild. Experts warned that without drastic action, the panda could disappear within our lifetime, but something shifted. A global effort began, not just to save the panda, but to reimagine what conservation could achieve. And today, the giant panda is no longer endangered. So how did this happen? How did a species once written off as doomed pull off one of the most stunning turnarounds in modern wildlife history? It all started with a problem that seemed impossible to solve. Pandas are notoriously difficult to breed. In the wild, females are fertile for just 2 to 3 days a year. Males often show little interest in mating. Cubs are born tiny, blind, and incredibly vulnerable. For years, breeding programs struggled. Zoos celebrated every birth like a miracle, because it was, but behind the scenes, scientists were learning. They discovered that pandas needed space, privacy, and the right conditions to feel safe. They studied panda vocalizations, scent marking, and even introduced potential mates using what they called panda dating, letting females choose between males based on recorded calls. Slowly, captive births increased. And with each success, they learned more, yet breeding pandas in captivity was only half the battle. The real challenge was rebuilding their home. Pandas depend entirely on bamboo, a plant that flowers, dies off, and can leave entire populations without food. In the wild, pandas need vast, connected forests to migrate when their bamboo starves. But China's rapid development had turned those forests into islands, trapping pandas in shrinking pockets of habitat. That's when something unprecedented happened. The Chinese government, working with global partners, began creating what would become a network of over 60 panda reserves, protected areas linked by green corridors. They banned logging in key regions. They replanted bamboo forests. They even built special panda bridges over highways so the animals could safely cross from one forest to another. But here's what really changed the game. They got local communities involved. For years, people living near panda habitats saw the bears as a barrier to progress. But conservation programs began offering new opportunities, jobs as rangers, guides, and researchers. Ecotourism brought income. Schools taught children that pandas were part of their natural heritage. Slowly, the panda went from being a problem to a point of pride. By the early 2000s, the results were becoming visible. Wild panda numbers began to stabilize, then grow. Captive-born pandas were being reintroduced into the wild, a delicate process that involved teaching them to recognize predators, find food, and avoid humans. The first successful reintroduction in 2006 was a landmark moment, proof that pandas raised by humans could learn to be wild again. Today, there are an estimated 1,800 giant pandas in the wild, nearly double the lowest estimates from the 1980s. In 2016, the International Union for Conservation of Nature moved the giant panda from endangered to vulnerable, a milestone few thought possible. But the story isn't over. Climate change threatens the bamboo forests they depend on. Habitat fragmentation remains a risk. What the panda's comeback teaches us is that extinction is not inevitable. It's a choice. With collaboration, science, and a deep commitment to coexistence, we can rewrite the fate of species on the edge. The giant panda is more than a conservation success. It's a living reminder that when we care enough to act, even the most fragile creatures can thrive once more. Which endangered species would you like to see make a comeback next? Let us know in the comments. Your suggestion could be the focus of our next video.